What's up, WEBTOON? I'm Mark here, and I am a digital mangaka. So today we've got a video that has been on my mind for a very, very long time. When you read a manga, and you're looking at the panels, you're looking at the art, you're looking at the line work, you're looking at all these dynamic poses and frames and all these things, and then you go and watch the anime that adapts it, and then you're like, something's off. That something that's off is the problem that happens when manga is adapted to anime. Sometimes, depending on the studio, sometimes the translation is not always the greatest. It could be for various different reasons, but I've got a few different examples here in part one of this video. We're just gonna react to some of these differences between a scene from the same series, but one from the manga and one from the anime. So first I'm gonna start off with this scene from Bleach. Let's see, right off the bat, I'm always a huge fan of this kind of cross-hatching. It's not quite cross-hatching, but it's where you use this sort of line work to kind of convey shadows, or I do it a lot in my own artwork. But if we go over to Tite Kubo's actual manga, you see that detail is a lot greater, so much better. Like it's cleaner. It's almost like the anime was just kind of like, yeah, we'll throw it in there just because, you know, it's in the manga, but like, we don't really care that much about it. It just, everything is like night and day. I would definitely prefer the manga to the anime in this particular panel. I mean, just look at Ichigo's hair. It's much more fluid, much more natural looking, versus in anime it just looks a lot more stiff. Everything from the hand and the sword is pretty much the same. Of course you can't see the rest of the sword because of the speech bubble. A lot of this is the same. Rukia's face is a lot different. We'll just leave it at that. And for some reason the angle is slightly different to where you can see more of her feet. She looks a lot smaller here than she does in the anime. Now, this next one here is from Naruto. Now this one is different for a very specific reason. Is for censorship. Now sometimes, even though there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of intense moments with violence in Naruto, there's still moments where they censor just how gruesome some of these moments can be. Such as here you see Shikamaru, you can actually see his bone, like he's caught up in a genjutsu, and you can actually see the bone coming through his flesh, melting away from his arm. To me, I think this is another example of this. Just looks incredible. Both faces convey terror. I will say, I do think that Shikamaru's ponytail is done a lot better in the anime. Other than that, everything's pretty much identical. There's a little difference of an angle there. This is a series of panels from Attack on Titan. Take a look at this very first panel. We can see, again, the angle is a little different. I do like here in the anime that the character in the foreground, which I don't remember who this is. I don't remember if this is Eren, but I like that the character in the foreground is a lot more bigger. I like that he's actually in the foreground, versus you don't really get that dynamic, like, convey of distance that you do in the anime. So in this particular panel, I actually would go anime here, and I even think that Levi's stance is a lot more dynamic. I like the use of the blood over the face as isn't there at all in the manga. Moving on to the next panel, again I would go with the anime here. I love when artists can be a lot more fluid with their pen work. I think here he tried to really show just how, like, a lot of the movement, that this is a very fast-paced scene, that there's a lot of movement happening here, a lot of fast movement, but it's not meant to look clean. But it's just something about when you compare the anime one to the manga, it's just Mikasa's face being a lot more consistent. I just think that it's a lot easier to follow as well. Now in this next one, to me this is kind of like a toss-up. I really like the use of the toning here. I like the use of the cross hatching. Sucker for that. Over the eyes, I like the sketchy look here. I think it's just the difference of opinion, but you just can't go wrong with how they seem to really clean up a lot of Isayama's art in the anime. Alright, this one is from Hunter x Hunter. This is a pretty famous scene amongst anime fans. I do remember this scene. Now, I love Yoshihiro Togashi. He is one of my favorite mangaka writers ever. But his artwork, we know, isn't always that consistent. He has some great panels, has some very great artwork. No one's saying that he doesn't, but we all know that his artwork has been inconsistent over the years, and especially later in his life as his health started to decline. Every shot from the manga here pretty much looks like a storyboard or a rough draft of what it actually is supposed to look like. It's almost like Togashi just decided, he just sketched out what his ideas are roughly going to be, and then the anime is just, it comes in with better proportions, much more passion. When you look at these two panels here, the grin, the eyes, the arch of the eyebrows, that's compared to this one. I really see the pain in Gon's eyes, and the gritted teeth is just a lot more detailed. And this here is just night and day. Like, there's almost no comparison. This, almost looks completely like a rough sketch. But I get what he was going for at the same time. And then having the tears in this one as compared to no tears here. I love the shading, the crosshatch shading. Always gonna love that, but you can't deny just the pure consistency of the artwork compared to the manga. Me and my partner are currently working on our very own webtoon. Links are in the description. The first episode of our webtoon will be available very, very soon. Stay tuned. Alright, this one is from Black Clover, and here we have Asta, and this here is an example of, to me, where the anime just loses a lot of the character. It loses a lot of the steam and the raw passion in the translation. Now before, with Gon, his passion came through a lot more in the anime, but here, the manga, everything from the shading to just the intensity of the eyes, the dark grooves under the eyes, the over-exaggerated mouth, it's just a lot better. Even the way the hair is done, I actually think that they didn't do a great job with his hair at all in the anime as compared to the manga here. It's just a beautiful panel here as compared to the anime. It's just kind of bland. It's just an up close, just basic up close shot, as opposed to you look at the manga and you go, wow, that is intense. Alright, this next one is from My Hero Academia. This one is actually very, very hard for me to say which one is better. I really think it comes down to a matter of opinion. Both are great. Both are consistent. Both have great details. The angles are a little bit different when it comes to Midoriya's hands here, but you really can't go wrong with either. I think the only standout difference, honestly, I just think that you can see Todoroki's expression a little better. He looks a bit more concerned, as opposed to you see the sweat here coming off of his face. You see it a little bit up here, but not as much. It kind of gets lost in these clear focus lines that they use here. I think the use of focus lines could have been really dope in the manga here, but at the same time, maybe he didn't want to cover all of this artwork and screen toning that he did, and of course just the use of the digital fire here and Midoriya's glowing hands here. That is the biggest difference here. But as I say, either one they're both great shots, and they're both great pieces of work. Alright, last one. This one is from Demon Slayer, and I am a huge fan of the animation in the Demon Slayer anime. Hot take! I think the animation in season 2, that final fight, I won't say just in case anybody who has not seen it, is arguably the best animation I have ever seen in any anime.
It's really that good.
But here we have a slight spoiler, and it's actually from that final fight. If you don't want to be spoiled, you can end the video here, but if you don't mind, both of these, again, are two great panels, but the anime really gets it right here. Really has the huge advantage with color. Now, I've seen plenty of manga panels that look way better than the anime, despite its lack of color. But here, the color is utilized so well with these yellow highlights and the shadowing in the eyes here to just make the white even more intense. The shadowing here with the blood, just the really saturated color. I love the intense vertical lines here on the nose. I think the line weight is a bit heavier too as compared to the manga, and it also adds to the intensity. Also, as well as I think the hair, even though you can't see as much here in this shot, I think the hair looks a lot better here than it does in the manga. But everything from the veins, the intensity of with the lines under the eyes, the wound, the blood, I mean, both look incredible, but I would still have to give it to the anime in this regard. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please watch part 2 when that video is available. It'll be up here as well as linked down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, show us that you care, leave a comment telling me which panels you like the most or how you disagree with me on some of the manga versus the anime, and we'll see you guys in the next video.